historically, and certainly what I saw from my research today, there seems to be a rift between basic researchers and applied researchers. Like somehow they don't have anything to do with each other. Like somehow they're competing with each other for funding or other resources, and this is just not true. The reality is most applied research has basic research in its foundation, and if it doesn't, it's very thin and it's very difficult to expand application. So a lot of our national lab design is really about getting the collaboration between basic and applied research, and there's a lot of mechanism to that. There's a lot of management science to making that happen. Those two imperatives are extremely important to the success of the National Lab for the purpose of value maximization. So I will leave you with a last thought. You will see in the report that we dealt with a lot of different issues. And as we were designing the model, we were solving for a lot of different things. So issues like awareness, and the fact that nobody really even knows what the ISS can do. Issues like the ability to get projects matched with funding, the ability to advance the academic interest and integrity in the kinds of research that go on in low Earth orbit. All of these things were critical constraints that had to be broken in the design, and that is what we focused on. And in doing that, what we tried to do was to create the kind of an enterprise that would be successful in this environment. What it was not is something that's been done before, or seen before, or copied something else. That wasn't the goal of the exercise. The goal of the exercise was to find the enterprise that would maximize value. So I would encourage all of you who have not read the report to read it and to appreciate how many different variables have to be adjusted for in order for this to create success. I always would say that if this was easy, it would already have been done. And it wasn't an easy design to do. But I would say, if it is done well, it will make the most of the next 10 years. And this is critically important to the future of certainly science and space. But it also will create a community of interest. And to get that community together, we've created an organization that literally can be joined, and people can be involved in it. And I think that you'll see in that the ability for us to be able to really get outside these four walls, as you keep saying, and to invite the rest of the world into the community of the International Space Station and really build the base for excitement about science in lower Earth orbit. We also have to realize that this has to be managed with a certain amount of sophistication, and that kind of innovative design is really worthy of the accomplishment which is ISS. It's hard to imagine something that is such an extraordinary human endeavor and such an extraordinary engineering feat not requiring really brilliant management of its utilization going forward. And we focused on that. And so if this is done well, we really believe this will usher in a new era of science and space. And more importantly, will be the bridge and the gateway to the next generation of assets in space. If this is a good idea, it will continue to be a good idea. And once the community of interest comes together on this, there's no telling what will happen next. So I wanted to just say that if for all of you, if you need a cited reference, it's on the NASA website and the ProOrbis website. I really applaud all of you. I have not been working in this for very long. It's not certainly as long as all of you have, but I would very much encourage you now to stay with it. I do believe the time has come, and I absolutely believe that it's possible. So congratulations with how far you've gotten this, and let's hope we can get this done. Thank you.
or two, and then we'll wrap it up, and you can find any of the panelists afterwards as well for any questions. So, please go on.
Hi, my name is Dorit Donneville, and I'm with the National Space Biomedical Research Institute, NSBRI. I have a question for Ms. DiFrancesco. I read your report, and it's excellent, and I thank you for doing such a good job and making it such a good read. I have one question, and that's with regards to the governing structure of what you envision. You discussed putting in place a board of overseeing managing directors and scientific directors. And it wasn't clear to me how we would make sure that prioritization would be done equitably and fairly, and there wouldn't be particular agendas that would be pushed over others.
Yeah, I mean, I thank you for the question. It's very good. I think governance was one of the three hardest things that we designed into the National Lab. The structure of the board, I cannot tell you how many board models that we reviewed, and actually how much discussion that we had with organizations from the White House to Congress, to practical models of how to manage an enterprise like this, which is basically stewarding a national asset, but also trying to work to maximize value. So the prioritization models are very disciplined and laid out in the work, and they are really what guide prioritization. So prioritization on ISS is really more oriented toward projects that maximize value, but remember the value definition. So it includes both the tangible and intangible value. The board is really there to steward the maximization of value, and the ex officio board is there to make sure that the government remains involved with the National Laboratory. So it is it was a very delicately structured model and very carefully crafted to assure that that kind of mission orientation to value maximization, but also government involvement, so that it really couldn't go astray.
Okay, I want to thank the panelists. I really appreciate your time and your presentations and your insight. And if anybody else has questions, they'll be around afterwards. And I think it's time for a break. 4:15.